This is the Lulich Corner. I'm Jordan Lulich, and today we get to sit down with Rob MacCallum, who's been a Sunrise Rotarian member for a while and has also just been a Rotarian for over 11 years. And we're talking all about Rotary today. Rob, thank you so much for coming on. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
So I know it may be just simple just to start out the conversation, but what exactly is Rotary?
Yeah, I mean, Rotary is an organization that's a service organization. There's two different facets. One's an administrative kind of, they run events and they put all this stuff. But the second part for the community, it's a 501c. So it really helps the community. It's a tax write-off when you donate to this organization, and they do projects both locally and throughout the entire world. So whether it's, anything, I mean, really. We're most known for the Brew Fest that happens here in the county and in the community, and it brings in about, I think it's 15,000 people throughout that 4-hour window.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. I mean, you invited me to Rotary, I think back in October, November last year. So I got to be involved with that Brew Fest for the first time, and that was completely unbelievable. What they do is they close down all of the Royal Palm Point area.
Yep.
And there's just beer vendors that are stacked, and they raise a substantial amount of money. But I think more so it's not the event that's what's important. It's what Rotary does with those funds, with those proceeds that they raise. So from all of the revenue and from all of the profits, what are different projects that the Rotary invest in with the money that's raised?
Yeah, so I mean, it's anything from, we do local scholarships. So I think last year we provided, I think it was 11 scholarships to kids going to different colleges and universities throughout the country. They've also started, I think, a vocational scholarship.
Nice.
So that's one aspect. So they're big into education. Internationally, there's clean water projects. There's clean health projects. We do a lot in like the Dominican Republic and places that are impoverished and really have struggled getting resources. They've built houses and schools throughout the world, and also helps the homeless population here locally. So they do a lot. There's really no aspect of where that money can go.
Yeah.
It's based on us Rotarians to bring projects to the table to then have them vote on and fund them.
Decide.
Or even get involved in it, whether it's money or it's physical labor, getting involved. With our hands. So yeah.
So what's the motto of Rotary, and what does it mean exactly?
Yeah, so the model of Rotary
Rotary.
Is service above self. So
Okay.
basically what it means is that we're putting our service and our time, treasure, and talent to use above ourselves. So we want to help the community more than, we want to help ourselves, and that's really what it's about. So it's really a lot of people doing good throughout the world and in our local community especially.
So, we talked a little bit about what Rotary does. I mean, are there certain areas of focus that Rotary kind of hones in on as far as, I mean, it really sounds like it would be a community service organization, right? It sounds,
Correct.
I mean, from what you're saying and from my involvement, it's a way to give back. It's a way to become involved with the community. It's a way to be involved and to do community service. So is it just community service that Rotary focuses on, or is there a broader focus?
So there's a bunch of areas of focus, and I'm just going to read all of them real quick.
Yeah.
So one's promoting peace. The second one's fighting disease. The next one's providing clean water, sanitation, and hygiene. Saving mothers and children. Supporting education. Growing local economies. And protecting the environment. So those are the main levels of focus for Rotary International. So It doesn't matter what Rotary Club you're involved with. Those are the main areas of focus, both locally and throughout the world. So those are the segments that Rotary goes after.
We touched on it a little bit locally, from a local aspect. You mentioned a few of the different service projects that Rotary focuses on here in Indian River County. But I mean, my experience in attending the meetings is there's a different nonprofit that comes to almost every single meeting. Like the connection, at least that Sunrise Rotary has with the local nonprofit community, it was really commendable. Like I've never seen such a huge focus on nonprofits. So does Rotary work with all of the local nonprofits? or what are some examples of some really strong partnerships that Sunrise Rotary has with the local nonprofit community?
Yeah. So on the meetings we try to bring in guest speakers every meeting, and it's generally a nonprofit that comes in, talks about their mission or what they're doing or what they're looking to achieve. Locally, one of the bigger ones we're doing is like the Gifford Youth Orchestra.
Okay.
We've done a lot with them. Learning Alliance, so helping kids. There's a big drop off of, if they can't learn to read by, I think it's third grade.
Yeah.
There's all sorts of statistics out there. So helping them kind of grow and, doing things like that. So those are two big ones that come to mind immediately. As I said, scholarships for local kids. I mean, it doesn't, and it's not need based for that. So it's they apply. There's a committee that reviews the applications, and then they get a 4-year scholarship, and I think it's like $1,000 or something a year per kid. And so there's a bunch of different things that we do. There's really not
one single
thing, because it's a club of, I think we have 100 members.
Yeah.
And every single one of them has a passion project that they bring up, and it's discussed and the ability. We Girls on the Run is another thing I know we've supported. So here locally.
To the what amount? I mean, is there a monetary amount that you think that off the cuff as far as the amount that Rotary gives back to nonprofits and to different community events?
What was our budget last year? I think we gave out over 150 or 125,000 last year to local charities and nonprofits.
That's huge.
Locally, yes.
That's a huge impact. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and the cool thing too is Rotary also has matching grants. So the way it works is, we can apply for these grants both on our district level and then on our international level. So it's called Rotary Math.
Okay.
And the way it basically works, every dollar that we raise, if we get matching grants, we can almost get, I think, $5 or $10 back towards the cause.
That's awesome.
So it goes all the way up, and then sometimes there's a 3-year investment period.
Yeah.
So there's all sorts of ways that we can actually maximize the dollars that are raised. And the coolest thing about Rotary that I really like when you're looking at charities and donating, I think the last stat was it was like 92 or 97 cents per every dollar goes to the actual cause.
Right.
So the overhead of Rotary is all volunteer based. There's very little overhead. So when you're donating to Rotary, you are donating to a specific cause, and really your money's going where it needs to go.
That's so important, because you look at some of these larger nonprofits and it's like 40, 50, 60% spent on administrative costs. I mean, that's crazy. So you donate $1 and then 40 to 50 cents goes away. So having a direct impact like that, where, you said 97 cents.
I think it was, last stat I looked was 97 cents.
That's
or 90,
huge.
92 cents.
97 cents. Yeah. 92 cents. Even if it's 90 cents, that's huge. Yeah. That's 90 cents of my dollar is actually going to make an impact on someone somewhere, locally or internationally. And that kind of brings me into the next point is, I know Dr. Rick Root is head of the international program for the Sunrise Rotary Club. And so to what extent, does Sunrise Rotary impact the international community and service international projects?
Yeah, so they have, I believe I think they have 15 people going down to, I want to say, Guatemala in October.
Yeah. And
they're going hands-on. I think they're building some houses. Dr. Root and I think a couple others provide services, whether, as far as medical or dental. While they're down there, they set up kind of like a shop, and they donate their time and energy to helping those people. So they really make a huge impact, because it's not, as I said, we're not just a check writing club. They'll get on a plane, they'll go places. Yeah. When disasters happen throughout the country, we've got 2 disaster aid relief trailers that people end up hauling to the place and, leaving the trailer, and they use it as needed with the local club. So the impact that you can have as a Rotarian is limitless.
Yeah,
it really is. You can get in whatever you want.
That's awesome. And when there was an international presentation a few months ago, one of the things that I found striking was not only does, the group with Sunrise Rotary go into these international locations, but they're also maintaining relationships with these people that are there. So there was, Dr. Root and some others, they were telling about stories about progress over 10 years, 15 years, which I think that is so impactful, rather than going to a place just once and then because it's about creating sustainable growth,
Right.
and helping sustain the improvement in these impoverished situations. Because you can go in there, you can do some dental work and try to build a house, but do they have the resources to maintain that house or maintain their health or whatever it is that you're impacting it? So it still strikes me today as awesome that they've got the ability to maintain those relationships after all these years.
Well, that's the cool thing about it being an international organization. So when we look at projects, especially internationally, one of the main things that they look at is boots on the ground where you're going.
Yeah.
So you talked about sustainable growth and sustainable help.
Yeah.
Well, you're right. If we just are there for a week,
Right.
do our thing, and then leave, well, those people don't necessarily know how to sustain it and keep going. So it's a constant education that needs to happen. And they make sure that they partner with either a Rotary Club that's there, or they try to form one that can keep that sustainable impact and growth for the service that we're providing. So,
and it's just accountability. Cool. I mean, if you think about it, I mean, what impression would these foreign countries have of us if we just come in 5 days, give them the stuff, and then leave, right?
Right.
I mean, they're like, we come to give handouts almost. I mean, we go down there and then we hold them accountable. Like, you need to be doing this, this, and this. One of the other aspects, I want to talk a little bit about how people can get involved. But one of the things that I found unique about Sunrise Rotary was that there was almost a discouragement about talking about business at the morning breakfasts.
Yeah.
There is a specific business networking event that's once a month that Sunrise Rotary puts on. But when you go, the focus is on building relationships. It's on these different service projects. It's on the greater good. It's not about promoting yourself, that's one of the things that prompted me and kind of triggered me to join. But how do people join Rotary? I mean, what steps do they take, and what does that process look like to become a Rotary member, at least with Sunrise?
Yeah. So the first step is to come to a meeting, and have breakfast with us.
Free breakfast, right?
Free breakfast.
Free breakfast.
Free breakfast.
Yep.
Free.
Free.
So come to a meeting, enjoy breakfast, enjoy the camaraderie,
Yep.
hear what we got going on, see a meeting in progress, and then if you like it, there's an application process. And every Rotary Club does it a little differently.
Okay.
Ours is a little bit more intensive, where we really want to make sure that you want to be there and are there for the right reasons.
Yep.
So we make sure that there's an application process, there's a screening committee, and then there's steps to becoming a full member.
Yep.
It's nothing difficult, but
it's a process.
It's a process.
Takes a few months.
You just did it.
Yeah, it takes a few months.
And there's no rush to do it. So if you're a busy person, you can take your time doing the steps. And then, get the red badge cut and get your gold badge at some point.
Yep.
So, that's the first step. And then, it's just showing up, coming to a meeting, seeing if it's for you, and getting to know the people that are involved. But you're talking about that it's a different aspect. It's not a business networking thing.
No.
You're there, you're getting involved in either your passion project,
right,
or you're finding a passion project that you're getting involved with other people that have that same passion.
Right.
And it's a different type of growth, and it's awesome. I mean, that's why I've been in it for 11 years.
That's awesome.
In 2 different states. And it's all the same people.
So you touched a little bit before about the Wing Fest. I know there's more fundraisers and more local events. So why don't you tell us a little bit about those local events, like the Christmas parade that Sunrise Rotary puts on?
Yeah, so we took over the Christmas parade, I think 2 years ago now.
For Vero Beach, yep.
Yeah, so Todd Duras and a bunch of Rotarians, when it was going to be canceled one year, they said, "Hey, this is going to be canceled. How do we keep it going and still maintain safety and protocols?" And so they decided to do the reverse Christmas parade, which I thought was an unbelievable idea.
Yeah.
It was really outside the box thinking. So it was great that they were able to pull it off. And since then, last year they did it for the first time in a live event. It went great. And so it's just a way to bring the community together in a celebratory and great
cheerful way.
And, and I tell you what, the ideas that they have for this next Christmas parade are awesome. It's going to be fun. They've got a hidden Santa thing that they got going on.
Yeah.
So it's they're
having fun with it.
Yeah,
too.
they're having fun with it, and they're just making it grow. So
yeah.
All the credit to them. So that's a big event that we do. Obviously, the Craft Brew and Wing Festival that's coming up in February.
Right.
That's one of our biggest fundraisers, and people love it. As I said, people are calling in now, looking at like, where do I go for hotels? They're coming from all over the place. So they plan their visits here to Vero Beach around this event. And that's one of our biggest fundraisers. On the smaller side, you can always do just donations. You can do, we have little pop-up events here and there that, just check out our website, sunriserotaryverobeach.org. And, you can see what we got going on and just kind of jump involved because we're always doing something.
So in a nutshell, just to wrap things up, out of other service organizations, because there's other service organizations that are the community service oriented, why should someone choose Rotary?
So Rotary is it's the biggest organization that I know of in the world. So you're connected with, as I said, if you have a passion project for clean water, sustainable air, whatever it is, there's something that you can get involved with, and there's people that are willing to jump in and get involved with you.
Yep.
A lot of the other service organizations that I've come across are check writing organizations, so they don't get involved on a physical level.
Yep.
They'll just write a check because you need, $5,000 here for this, one-off project or whatever,
right? And
they get together and vote on that. Rotary is a action-oriented service organization.
Yeah.
So they will get involved on every single level financially. If you need physical labor help, if you need whatever, they will be there and they'll get involved. So that's what I really find is the biggest difference between Rotary and a lot of other service organizations that are out there. They all serve a purpose and they're all great.
Yeah.
But that would be for me, that's what I really like because I actually like physically getting involved with the people that we're servicing and helping and, hearing their stories and getting to grow with them and
building the relationships and then seeing those tangible results.
Exactly. Yeah. So.
All right. Well, that's all we have for today. This was Rob MacCallum from Sunrise Rotary. This is the Lulich Corner, and we'll see you next time.